Welcome inside the RX Muscle Studios in Westbury, New York for another episode of Ask Dave, better known as hashtag Ask Dave, brought to you by, as always, by Species Nutrition. Go to speciesnutrition.com. This month only, we have a lot of specials going on. If you spend $200 or more using the promo code FREEGB200, you will get a free Species gym bag. Of course, we have our brand new flavor of the month, caramel macchiato. A little bit on that just in a little bit tonight on Heavy Muscle TV. Well, this past weekend was NPC Team Universe, so a batch of new IFBB pros, and we're going to have a sampling this evening for you. We're going to have on Jose Flex Diaz. We're going to have John Mountain Dog Meadows, a big name, and that was big news over the weekend. He gets his pro card. He's going to join us tonight. And we're going to have Robin Marr, Quest Nutrition athlete, joining us tonight. Heavy Muscle TV, 7 p.m. on rxmuscle.com as we now bring in Dave Palumbo. Dave, once again, the flavor of the month on speciesnutrition.com. Caramel macchiato, only available on speciesnutrition.com.
Well, you know, I've been getting tortured by people about this caramel macchiato. Matter of fact, I had to pack my trunk with caramel macchiato. True story. When I went to NPC Team Universe this past weekend, and I felt like a drug dealer, you know, with opening my trunk and selling caramel macchiato out of there because people were so crazy and had to have it. I know that clients of mine were actually, after the show, back in the room. You know how people go and eat pizza? They were eating caramel macchiato. So it's obviously a huge success, and it is available exclusively at speciesnutrition.com. So you guys, you're not going to find it in any stores. You're not going to find it anywhere except on the website. So guys, check it out. It's available, and I know that no one has been disappointed yet.
And it's flying right now. And again, this is made in limited run. So once supplies last, we don't know when the next one is going to be. So once again, caramel macchiato isolized, available at speciesnutrition.com. And of course, free delivery in the continental U.S. 48 states and 25% off 44-serve isolized. 30-minute question and answer with Dave Palumbo. Your questions on training, diet, supplementation, IFBB pros, competition. We're in the thick of the competition schedule right now. Of course, we have the Chicago Pro. Chris Aceto and Dave will break that down later tonight, 7 p.m. on Heavy Muscle TV. We go to the Muscle Central Forum on rxmuscle.com. If you're not already a member, it is free to register. We check in with our friend P.A. Kodiak. Hi, Dave and Sid. This show sucks so bad that you should actually probably cut back. Very nice. Sometimes I find myself outside in the scorching sun with no escape from the blistering rays. Are there any detrimental effects specifically for bodybuilders that can occur from prolonged exposure to the sun?
Not really. I mean, obviously, heat exhaustion is not good. And I have a personalized, I guess you could say, story regarding heat exhaustion. I went to, back in 1986, I don't know if my good friend Mike Popkin is listening, but I went with my good friend Mike Popkin, my friend Jimmy Serpico, who is actually the executive producer of Rescue Me on TV, who eventually went on to do that. And who else was there? My friend Scott Wharton, who's also sold his company, is traveling the world right now. I'm the big loser in the group. And we all went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for spring break. And we stayed at Grandma Selma's house, my friend Jimmy Serpico's grandmother's house, who's no longer with us, God rest his soul. And we hung out in the sun all day long. The first day we got there, we were pale as a ghost when we got there. We got burnt to a crisp, and it ruined the rest of the weekend for all of us because we were shot. So if you spend too much time in the sun, it will drain your energy. You won't feel good. You might have flu-like symptoms, the chills. That's not going to help your training. It's not going to help your recovery. So don't overdo it. I always tell people the sun nowadays is really strong. Probably an hour and a half the most in the sun is really all you want to take unless you're going to wear a hat or a lot of sunscreen. Be careful.
Let's go to Big Mike Cox. Dave, I hate this show so much. I'd rather play Naked Twister with Chris Duffy and Bruce Patterson. I'm not even going to touch that one. What year, Dave, do you think you achieved your best condition?
It's a good question. You know, I probably the 95 Junior Nationals in USA, I was probably the craziest in terms of conditioning-wise. I went, like, to the extreme and got super, super shredded. Sometimes when my physique was the hardest, it necessarily wasn't the best because it got a little flat sometimes. Probably, detail-wise was the best in 2003 at the USA when I lost to Chris Cook. I think a lot of people like that look. That was about 263 pounds. And I think I had a lot of muscle maturity there. So you really saw a lot of detail in my physique, which you didn't see back in the 90s, even though I might have been a little leaner. But I think 2003 was probably my best look.
Let's go now to our friend BB50+. Dave said, I would rather use kettlebells for squats than put up with another stupid episode of this show. Let's get to it. How important is the act of posing, and he has parentheses, contracting and flexing the muscles, in improving one's physique? How much is enough, and is it possible to do too much? I'm not really talking about getting a posing routine together, just the act of flexing the muscles, and does it improve a physique?
A lot of people ask me, does it improve the look of your physique by posing? And, I don't know if there's any way to actually prove whether it does or not. I will tell you one thing, though. Presentation certainly helps your placing. So even if the actual act of posing, squeezing the muscle, doesn't make the muscle look tighter or harder, okay, put that aside. Who cares if it doesn't? The more you practice, the better you will be. Okay, what you want to do is when you're doing, you ever drive to like the store and sometimes you don't even know how you got there. You're like, how the hell did I get there? I don't even remember even getting in the car. It was almost subconsciously done. That's how you want your posing to be on stage. You don't want to think about hitting the front double bicep. You just want to do it instinctually. The only way to get to that point in time where you're that comfortable is to practice. The more you practice, the more it becomes second nature to you. And that's, I think, something that's greatly lacking. And look, I know 6 weeks after my show, I hated posing. I would torture. I would wait till 2 a.m. and I would finally, turn on the lights and in my mirrors in my living room. I would do posing for 20 minutes. I wouldn't allow myself to have my last meal until I did that. But if you did it for an hour a day all the time, think about how good you'd be at it. And once you get to that point where it's subconscious, it's easier to not have to practice as much to get the same benefit out of it. So, number one, you build posing endurance. Number two, you definitely become, I guess you could say, intuitive about the posing. And number three, it might actually make your physique look better too. So that's 3 good reasons to pose.
We stick with the RX Muscle Forum. Again, if you want to join in on the fun, you can join us on the rxmuscle.com Muscle Central Forum. It is free to register. You can tweet your questions using hashtag AskDave. You can join in on our official Facebook page or on our Instagram page, official_RX Muscle. We go to iFabian. Hi, Dave. I hate this show more than Dave Palumbo not getting press passes for the Olympia year after year and having to buy a cheap-ass hotel room and live stream his show from there, where he has to keep telling Chris Aceto to put his phone away and listen to all the factoids that Lonnie Teeper spills out, which consistently are all correct. Hashtag why cut back. Very nicely done. Yep. That is a fan of the show right there. I've heard you mention that your vascularity mainly depends on your genetics. Now, I see these guys walking around with veins on their bicep as thick as a pencil. Is the thickness also a genetic thing, or is it due to the PEDs they take, which increase the amount of red blood cells and therefore blow their veins up so much?
I had a ton of veins on my body when I was in high school. As a matter of fact, people couldn't believe the veins I had in my legs when I was running and stuff like that. But they were thin. As I got bigger, the veins got bigger. Obviously, bigger muscles require bigger oxygen supply. The actual blood vessels will increase in diameter size. So while veins, how many you have, how superficial they are somewhat genetic, okay? Some guys got them, some guys don't. The size of the veins will change as you get bigger. And I don't think it's the PEDs. I think it's just the size of the muscle. So that I definitely noticed on my body. The problem is that when you get smaller after that, sometimes the veins get a little squiggly looking because they don't, they're not being stretched as tight.
I should also mention, once again, if you have any questions, and if you're watching us directly on the livestream.com page, you can ask your questions on the chat box below. We'll take one more from the Muscle Central Forum on rxmuscle.com and go to Gorilla. Dave, I hate this show so much that I would rather explain to Sal Palumbo that Dr. George Farrell was not cutting back when he fired Chris Aceto from his 250-employee factory for staying out too late at gay bars. We're getting some great candidates here early on. Very nice. Once again, The best I hate, or I'd rather be, gets neutralized pre-workout by Species Nutrition. The best overall question of the show gets neutralized as well as a Species gym bag. So keep your questions coming in. So far, they have been good. The question is, Dave, do you recommend creatine use, and at what dosage and frequency?
I like creatine, especially in an off-season scenario. I like it also pre-contest, especially if you're on a low-carb diet, keep a little fuller. I don't have everyone use it, but I have some guys use it, especially the natural guys get a better boost from it than the PED guys. But 5 grams a day is enough. You don't. People ask me about loading dosages. Loading will speed up the process a little bit, but there's no reason to load. I think it puts a strain on your kidneys. 5 grams post-workout or 5 grams pre-workout seems to be ideal. I like the creatine monohydrate, the micronized version of it, which makes it much easier to mix. Because the problem with creatine is if it doesn't mix in solution and it just falls to the bottom of the cup, then you're not absorbing it. So what micronizing means, it takes the granules and it pulverizes it into a fine dust, kind of like what I do with my Carbolyze. When you mix that, it goes into solution much more easily. And obviously, if it gets into solution, you're going to absorb it better. So absolutely, about 5 grams per day, like I said, and I usually cut it 2 weeks out before a show.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Once again, Heavy Muscle TV returns tonight. We're going to have John Mountain Dog Meadows, Jose Flex Diaz, and Robin Marr, all three who won their pro cards this past weekend at NPCU. We now go to our livestream.com live chat box questions and start with Jake Laser. Dave, I hate this show so much that I pray for a Chris Aceto babysitting appearance because I would rather listen to 6 versions of ABCs than listen to you answer one more question about what to do the week before a show. Very nice. All right, we're off. I think we got 3 or 4 candidates already. That's a very strong one.
I think Chris Aceto will be on tonight as well.
Yes, actually, good call. Chris Aceto is going to be on at 7 p.m. to start the show. Chris and Dave are going to break down all that happened this past weekend with NPCU and the Chicago Pro. Let's go to the question. Dave, are Bronchade or Primatine good to use in an ECA stack?
ECA being ephedra, caffeine, aspirin stack. I'm not a big advocate of it, to be honest with you. I know Primatine has some Exudafed in there. You don't really see too much real ephedra anymore. I'm more of an advocate of clenbuterol, to be honest with you. If you're going to go the ephedra route, you might as well use clenbuterol. It's a better fat burner. It doesn't have as much central nervous system stimulation, but that's good because I don't really like stimulants that much to begin with, and clenbuterol doesn't really have that keep you awake type of effect. So I'm not an advocate of that.
Let's go now to our Instagram page. Again, if you want to join in on the fun on the Instagram page, there are a lot of questions pouring in there. We have a lot of fun on that page. It is official_RX Muscle. This question from Khalil Barak G. Dave, I'd rather be the posing trunks in between Greg Valentino's ass as he just prepares to get on stage after having a bologna sandwich than watch this crap show. Everybody's bringing their A game today. I love it. Does it really matter if your intake carbs before or after workout in terms of growth and HGH levels?
Well, in terms of anything related, carbs are not necessary for muscle growth. In terms of reglycogenating the muscle, giving the muscles some fuel, you probably could do carbs either before or after or both. In other words, it's like gas in your tank. I keep giving the same analogy time and time again. If the tank has got some gas in it, the car will run. If you put carbs in your body before you work out, you replace them after or both times or neither, as long as there's some gas in the tank, you're going to be able to perform in the gym. So it doesn't really matter. Carbs are not integral to the muscle building process or the repair process for that matter. So it doesn't matter when you eat carbs. You're still going to, as long as you eat protein after you train, you're going to start repairing muscle tissue. And I think that's a key point to remember. A lot of people forget that. Carbs are not necessary. Will the carbs fuel you, give you more fuel? Absolutely. Off season, I like to have a pre-workout carb. I like to have a post-workout carb with my protein, just because I don't want to limit any energy. I don't want to take any chances that the tank might be low because then we're going to dip into protein for fuel, and we don't want to do that. Now, pre-contest, unnecessary to eat all those extra carbs.
Let's go to our friend Matt Fritzler, 95. I would rather be Steve Bleckman's personal assistant than watch this show. Simple but brutal. Dave, what do you think of all these vegan scare tactics being used these days, telling people they will get cancer from eating meat and other blasphemous claims of the sort?
Well, I mean, my ex-wife is a vegan now, and she's always like yelling at me because I'm not a vegan too. It's like when you go to do yoga, or when I started cycling, there's like a cycling community that people are like psychotic about, like cycling. And, you get addicted because it's kind of like you always want to be a member of some kind of club or something like that, and you start believing what you're hearing, and you like that, and you want to be part of the team. So, when I get into cycling, I want all the cycling gear, I want everything, I want to have the bike, I have to have everything. Same thing with the vegan thing. You get so enamored with the whole process of eating these interesting vegetarian foods, and then you start believing that, you get food adversities. That happened to me a couple times too over the years when I was a runner and stuff like that. You start being afraid to eat almost certain foods because you think you're being poisoned by them. Meanwhile, you've been eating these foods your whole life and you've been healthy. So I think everything's, once again, comes back to moderation. Should you be eating red meat 6 times a day? No. Is it going to kill you if you have red meat 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week? No. As long as you're not eating fatty cuts of meat and you're balancing it with the other foods that you're eating. And I think that's the key. It's about balance. If you do anything to the nth extreme, whether it be what you think to be the good extreme or the bad extreme, it's no good. You got to find a middle ground. And I think that's when I became the best bodybuilder I could be, when I found middle ground.
Let's go to Andrew Lansback, who actually won an award last week on this show. Hey, Dave, this show is so bad, I'd rather watch a WNBA game while sitting next to Donald Trump, as he talks to me about his views on immigration. Nice. It's a good departure from the George Farah joke, so there you go. Some variety. How much of a difference does meal timing make in the long run? If I hit all my macros at the end of the day, regardless of when I ate, what I ate, would it matter at all?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you ate all your meals in the course of 2 hours or 3 hours during the day, you wouldn't be assimilating. You'd have an overabundance of food in your system, and most of it would probably just go to oxidize for energy. So you want to spread it out. Number one, protein. There's no storage facility for protein in the body. It's not like fat. We can put the fat into the fat cells, or carbs that you can put into glycogen storage. There's no storage facility. So if you're not eating protein spaced out throughout the day, invariably your body is going to need amino acids, and it's going to dip into the muscle, lean muscle tissue, and take it out of there. Because not only, even if you didn't go to the gym for a month, your body's still replacing all the cells in your body, skin, hair, nails, the internal lining of your colon. Everything is made of protein. So if you don't consume that protein, your body will take it, cannibalize it, so to speak, right out of your muscle tissue. And we don't want that. That's why the spacing of the meals is so important. Now, if you have a day where you missed a meal and you try to sneak another one in a little closer together to another meal, that's not the end of the world. But you don't want to be doing it every single day.
Let's go to Dooley Espinal. Dave, this show is so bad, I'd rather take George Farah out on a date and let him tell me all about his old cop stories than listen to this show. Dave, who do you think has this is a good question. Who do you think has the better physique, Sadiq or Frank Zane?
Good question. I think Frank Zane, I would have to go with him in terms of bodybuilder physiques, because Frank Zane was 3 times Mr. Olympia, and he was, he probably had better legs than Sadiq does. I mean, Sadiq does have good legs for a men's physique competitor, I will say that, but I think Frank Zane was a more complete bodybuilder in the sense. But it's a good analogy, and I think that's why Flex Magazine is going to put Sadiq on the cover with Frank Zane, because they do match up physique-wise pretty interestingly close. And I think that's probably a kind of cool feature to do. If only now, because I see they have Sadiq hitting some poses, if only now they would let the men's physique guys hit a few poses on the stage, I'd be even in a happier soul. Because then I would actually be able to critique these guys. If I had, give me one pose for the men's physique guys, make it a unique pose, make it a Zane pose. And guess what? Now all of a sudden, we have something to talk about when we're sitting in the press pit.
Let's go to War Room Nutrition. I hate this show more than a bad Steve Bleckman impersonator. Question, how does it feel to be a coach and one of your clients far exceeding expectations? Do you feel like you're sharing their victory a la Shelby Starnes? Signed, Shelby Starnes' training partner, William Taco. Thanks, Dave.
Well, yeah, I as soon as you stop competing, you start living vicariously through your clients. At least I do. And I know I've talked to a couple other trainers out there. We all pretty much do. You feel like you're up there with them. You've gone through the whole process with them week to week, sometimes day by day. The last couple of weeks, every day, pictures and talking. And even though you might not be like friends on a regular basis where you talk to these people every day, it's like you become part of their family almost because you're so intimately related to how they look and what's going on with their physique. And when things go wrong in their life, they tell you about it and you try to talk them through it. And you almost become a psychiatrist, psychologist. You become everything in this person's life. And so, of course, when they're up on stage, you want to see them do well and you feel like you're up there with them. And then, of course, when they do well, it makes you feel good. Shelby Starnes was one of these guys who probably people told, you don't have good genetics for bodybuilding. And, when I first started working with him, he was a welterweight. He actually came in second behind Victor Prisk at the North American Championships. 1 year later, we had him up to light heavyweight. We skipped the middleweight class totally. Here's a guy who kept going and going and going and get better and better and better. He turns pro. And I bet you if you can ask a million people, they probably would say this guy will never place at a pro show. Now he's fourth place at Chicago Pro 212. So, of course, I'm proud of him. And, I've also seen him go from being just a gym guy to being a top coach, too, in the industry. And hopefully I had something to do with that and, in teaching him. So, yeah, of course, it makes you feel great.
Once again, you're watching Ask Dave, rxmuscle.com. Reminder, tonight, Heavy Muscle TV returns 7 p.m. right here on rxmuscle.com. Comment from the livestream.com live chat box from Mark Malenfant. Dave, I just received my caramel macchiato. You were right. I think it is the best flavor. So thank you, Mark, and appreciate that, and glad you enjoyed. Let's go back to the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. Again, if you're not a member, that is where all the talk goes on. That is where all the drama, the hype, everything that goes on in this industry is being discussed on the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. And if you sign up, you're going to get Muscle in the Morning emailed to you every day, Monday through Friday. It's a great place to be. Let's go to Go Home. Dave, this show is worse than that movie I once saw about two 300-pound cyborgs from Long Island who were sent from the future to protect bodybuilding.
My video.
Speaking of cyborgs, or specifically those who possess non-human parts, when it comes to cosmetic muscle enhancement for bodybuilders, what is your opinion of site injection oils versus implants? What are the pros and cons of each? Can you give examples where you think one would be more appropriate than the other?
I only advocate using the site injection oils like Painless Pumps or Chris Clark's original synthesized pump and pose. I only recommend using those in small round muscle groups, kind of like arms, biceps, triceps, and calves. I know guys use them in the delts and other body parts, but they can get lumpy when you're starting to put high volume into these muscle groups. When you're putting higher volume into small round muscle groups, they just look more round. And assuming you do it the right protocol, and I have a protocol that I designed and I send out to people, especially since a lot of people purchase the stuff from my website. I think it looks good and it's cosmetic. When you start talking about other bigger body parts like glutes and lats and delts, I think you're better off using your regular gear in there and in the smaller amounts that you wind up injecting, because then you're just going to get a little bit of what I call mind-muscle connection. Because whenever you have more volume in an area, not an excessive amount, it gives your brain almost like a tracking device. It tells your brain, think about this area, think about this area, think about this area, because there's something in there that isn't supposed to be in there. And when you're in the gym and training it enables you to actually feel the muscle a little more. So regular shots in the bigger muscle groups seem to work better, whereas the site injection oils better in the smaller body parts.
Let's go back to our Instagram page. Again, our Instagram handle is official_RxMuscle, and we go to Dirk Wone. Hey Dave, I hate this show so much I would rather be stripped of all my clothing, sprayed with a hose, than sent to live out in the freezing cold streets of New York City in the middle of January, with my only option for keeping warm being a blanket made purely out of George Farrah's body hair, then have to listen to this rambling BS for one more second. These are just getting more and more creative. Unbelievable. My question is, what are some of your favorite or hidden secret supplements for pre-contest prep? Some people swear by weird things like shots of apple cider vinegar. Do you have any weird tricks outside of the standard diet? Thanks. #WhyCutback.
If you know anything about me, I'm not into the kooky, crazy stuff. Okay, when you start doing that stuff, you just it's like you might as well start throwing pennies into a wishing well. All right, there's standard science that works, and that's what you need. You need your vitamins and minerals. You need your essential fatty acids. You need fiber. If you have, I would recommend something for joints as well. That's why V-Mineralize, Omega-Lyze, Fiber-Lyze, and Arthrolyze are such great sellers, because these are the core basic nutrients your body needs. And a lot of guys need a good whey isolate too, because that's something that's just going to make their life easier. They won't have to eat 6 food meals a day. If you can handle those core nutrients and take some vitamin D supplementation, at least 5,000 units extra a day, you're covered. You're covered. There's no tricks that need to be played. The rest amounts to diet, restricting carbs, doing your cardio, and being disciplined. There's no trick to getting in shape. Okay, the only trick is that you have to be organized and have the game plan that works and follow it. And a lot of people have enough trouble just doing that. Believe me, because I have people that I question all the time who don't get the results they want, and I find out they've been eating nutty cheat meals, or they're having extra food. They're eating a whole jar of peanut butter when they should be having 1 tablespoon. So, once again, be disciplined, have a plan, and follow it.
Let's go to Sluggo819. Hi, Dave. I'd rather be in an eBay bidding war with Aaron Singerman trying to win a Sandow trophy so that I can profess to the world how I actually earned the trophy because of my contributions to bodybuilding than listen to your show. I'm going to mark that down. Again, best I hate. Guess the Nitrolize. Dave, when I train, I sweat pure ammonia. My diet is bodybuilding clean. I'm eating 4 or 5 protein meals a day, 2-3 protein drinks a day, as well as a pre- and intra-training drink. My training is very high intensity, and I only sweat ammonia when I train. Nobody has been able to answer why this may be happening. Have you ever heard of this happening to other guys, and what can I possibly do to stop it?
I know this is going to be an unpopular answer. Stop your intra-workout shake. No, it sounds like you're eating too much protein. And, a lot of people think if they drink amino acids all day long, intra-workout, intra-meal, intra-bathroom trips, that they're going to be more anabolic. And the truth is what they're doing is they're overtaxing their kidney and their liver's ability to deaminate or break down these amino acids. And it's creating a lot of ammonia production. And what's happening? I bet your creatinine levels are high too in your body. So cut back on all the amino acid, drinks. Stick to your 6 core meals a day, or if one of your shakes happens to be a meal, that's fine. Stop the extra amino acids and intra this and intra that. I know I'm not trying to be a hater here. I'm being serious. If you smell like ammonia, you're over-acidified, and that's usually from too much protein.
Let's go to MM_bodybuilding. Dave, I hate this show so much that I would rather listen to Steve Bleckman talk about how shredded Victor Martinez's glutes are for an hour than listen to this show. My question is, how often should I be stepping up on stage? Keeping in mind all the PEDs and timing them right, should shows be spread out by months, or should you just compete once a year and do a bunch of shows that are weeks apart instead of PCT, then blasting again and competing later on in the year? I've only started competing this year. I have done 2 shows. They were 5 months apart.
The most successful I was in my career was when I would compete once a year. And I would try to hit a couple shows in a row. So if I would do maybe, like, say, for instance, 1994, I did the Metropolitan Championships. I think I won my class there. I did the Suburban Championships in New Jersey the week after. Derek Whitsitt beat me. And then the week after that, I did the Junior USA, in which Derek Whitsitt beat me again. But, 3 shows in a row, the year after that, I did Junior Nationals. 2 weeks later, I did the USA. That makes it a lot easier, on your body, because it's hard to peak your body more than once a year. That's why a lot of these guys don't like to do the Arnold and the Olympia. Can it be done? Yeah, and especially when you're at the elite level and you don't really need to make huge gains, it's not so bad. But when you're trying to grow and make improvements, if you compete like in the summer and then you wait all the way to the fall to compete, you don't have an off season anymore. So I would say try to pick a show or a bunch of shows, do them very close together, and then take the rest of the year to relax and grow.
We'll take one more before we announce the winners. This one from Kimo Dino 1. Dave, I hate this show so much I'd rather stop drinking milk so I don't watch this crap anymore, since I only watch it while I'm on the crapper. It's good logic there. I like that. What's your take on naps? If you already get 8 to 10 hours of sleep at night, will improve your recovery time?
Back in the day when I was growing, I was a big believer in naps. I still sometimes take naps, but they're far and few between now because I don't have any time. But what I would do is I would go and I would work all morning. I would train people at the gym. Then I would go do I would eat and then go do my workout, and then I would come back and eat a meal, and then I would go to sleep. And I would sleep sometimes. I found that if I slept more than 45 minutes, I almost got like groggy the rest of the day. So 45-minute nap, I would wake up and I felt like my muscles were actually healing already, or were somewhat healed already. I kind of felt like I had just had a whole night's sleep just in 45 minutes. So if you have the time and you live in the bodybuilding lifestyle where you don't work, or you don't have a regular, you don't have to work a full day, if you can take a nap after you train, earlier in the day, that's the best way to grow, really. I mean, it is, because sleep does help repair the body.
All right, so that concludes the questions portion of the show. We now announce the best question, best overall question, and the winner of the best I hate or best I would rather be doing this than watching this show. So, Johnny, our producer, we're going to get you involved in this as well, since we got some good prime candidates. We're going to start first from our Instagram page, and let's get the best question out of the way first. These two I felt were the strongest ones. The first one from Dooley Espinal asking about the better physique between Sadiq and Frank Zane. That's a very relevant topic, and it is one that people are talking about. The other question was one of the ones towards the end of the episode, which was about how often somebody should step on stage given the PED usage, and whether or not he should spread it apart. So, Dave, which one do you select?
I'll go with the how often should someone step on stage.
All right, Johnny? All right, so that's going to be the unanimous one right there. So, MM _ bodybuilding, contact us at sid@speciesnutrition.com, and we will get you a Species gym bag as well as Nitrolize.
If you live in Hong Kong, don't bother contacting us. Everyone I pick is always the guy who lives overseas.
All right, let's get to the best I hate. So let's see here. Actually, the best question from MM Bodybuilding also had a good I hate. What does he have here? I'd rather listen to Steve Bleckman talk about how shredded Victor Martinez's glutes are for an hour than listen to this show. All right, so that's one.
There was a good one. There was a longer one.
All right, so we have another one from the Instagram page. I'd rather be in an eBay bidding war with Aaron Singerman trying to win a Sandow trophy so that I can profess to the world how I actually earned the trophy because of my contributions to bodybuilding than listen to your show.
I like that
That's a really good one. All right,
I think that's it.
Well,
I think Johnny and I have to
you know what? We got another really good one here. You talk about times where you have so many really good ones that on any other episode, that's an automatic winner. But today we had so many strong contributions. Mm-hmm. This one from Fabian. I hate this show more than Dave Palumbo not getting press passes for the Olympia year after year and having to buy a cheap-ass hotel room and live stream his show from there, where he has to keep telling Chris Aceto to put his phone away and to listen to all the factoids that Lonnie Teeper spills out, which consistently are correct. I think we might have a tie.
That might be a tie. Maybe we should give both.
I think.
Haven't we given Fabian some free stuff though already?
Fabian probably has a collection.
He's won about 40 times
He's
already.
He's probably got a whole bookshelf worth of Nitrolize. But you know what?
Fabian, if I see this stuff on eBay being sold, no more.
So, Dave, do you agree that we have a tie on this one?
Yeah, let's send them.
Johnny, we got a tie? All right, we have a tie. So, Fabian and Sluggo 8119. Contact me, sid@speciesnutrition.com, and we will get you your Nitrolize pre-workout. It's been a lot of fun, as always. Once again, the replay is going to be available within minutes on rxmuscle.com, as well later on our YouTube channel. Once again, Heavy Muscle TV tonight. John Mountain Dog Meadows, Jose Flex Diaz, Robin Marr, all three won their pro cards this weekend, and we're going to have them live on the show tonight. Chris Aceto and Dave break down the Chicago Pro and NPC Team U. Heavy Muscle TV, 7 p.m. We'll see you then.